MrBettsClass? Yeah, it's me, Wahti the Flying Squirrel Substitute Teacher, and if you're happy to see me again, click that like button. And if not, well, don't think I'm thrilled to see you either. Today's topic, how to America the world into a Great Depression. Oh, it's the 1910s, and America was trying to figure out if it was ready to hang out with the adults yet. Sure, it had a job, probably some mindless factory job, and it was a big fish in its own pond, but was it ready to get involved with Europe? Europeans can be pretty weird. Especially considering that Europe was in all-out war over the assassination of some archduke. What the heck is an archduke anyway? Who cares? Those are Eastern Hemisphere problems. But it was a good opportunity for America. While Europeans were busy killing each other, someone had to grow food and provide loans and make goods. This was our time. American farms, farm. American banks, bank. American factories, factor. Eventually we joined the war, but we were just the Johnny-come-latelys. More importantly than coming out as a military winner, we were the economic boss. If the world was a game of Monopoly, we were the bank. Forget the pound. I'll let Kenny Powers sum up the world economy at that time.
Dollar bills, y'all.
So Europe and its economy was a mess. First, because of all the time they spent fighting. Second, because of all the workers they lost. And lastly, because they blew everything up. Sure, the winners tried to make their money back through reparations to be paid by Germany, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Meanwhile, it was the Roaring '20s, and everything in the USA was fantastic. Except if maybe you were a farmer. See, farmers took out loans to expand and buy new equipment during the war, but now that it was over, demand was slowing down, but they still had to pay them loans. And the fact that they were producing more than was needed just made their crops worth even less. Now, the government could have kept buying surpluses like they did in the war, but of course they didn't. This was the '20s, laissez-faire. It'll sort itself out. It's all about the government not being involved, and I see nothing that could possibly go wrong with this. Plus, who cares about farmers? Everybody's watching the stock market, which was going through the roof. See, now you could buy stocks on margin, which meant that you just put up a little bit of cash and your stockbroker puts up the rest. People spend more money when it doesn't actually feel like real money, and I see nothing that could possibly go wrong with this. Also, awesome new products like cars and dishwashers were available to regular people for the first time. Sure, they might have cost an arm and a leg, but you can buy it using credit and installment plans. Buy now, pay later. I see nothing that could possibly go wrong with this. But still, eventually demand started to drop, especially when Europe was starting to get going again. So how do you solve this? Tariffs. Let's slap some special taxes on certain imported goods. Let's hike it up to 38.5% with the ability to go as high as 50%. That'll protect American goods, and I see nothing that could possibly go wrong with this. We did have a little problem in the fact that European nations weren't paying back their loans from the war. Besides the fact that through our tariffs, we basically made their products too expensive for Americans to buy, they complained that Germany wasn't coughing up its massive reparations. Germany claimed it had a messed up, hyperinflated economy, but how bad could it be? Oh my God. Germany, is your money so worthless that you're literally burning it for heat? Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll loan a bunch of money to Germany. They'll use that money to pay off France and England, who will in turn use that money to pay us off. And I don't see anything that could possibly go wrong with this. And now nobody's actually paying any money off. Germany's being Germany. France and England are claiming that they paid through lives lost during the war, while we sat on the sidelines. And now overproduction has led to massive farm foreclosures and layoffs, which have left 75% of Americans living around the poverty level. Now England's raising interest rates to try and actually get their economy going, which somehow triggers a massive stock dump, which destroys investors, brokers, and the banks that back them all. And now Americans are running to those banks to get their cash, but those banks ain't got nothing, and they're shutting their doors. Now America, the world's largest creditor, is plunging into an economic depression, and the weak world economies around it are swirling down the drain, too. And now Herbert Hoover and the government's pretty much sitting on the sidelines, throwing the occasional Band-Aid at our gaping chest wound of an economy. And now we passed a Holy Smooth tariff, a 60% tariff that pretty much kills any international trade. And now we're in worldwide depression. We may not have been the only cause for this worldwide depression, but boy, were we a big one. At least it can't get any worse, right? Oh, poop. Well, that's how to America the world into a Great Depression. If you liked it, click the button, and if you didn't, why are you still watching this video? Why would you watch an entire video that you didn't like? You need to evaluate your choices better. Hey, did you know that you can buy a t-shirt with me on it? Well, you probably didn't know because it's the worst selling merch Mr. Betts has, but there's a link in the description if you want it. And lastly, make sure you subscribe because Mr. Betts has a frail, fragile ego only held together by the delusion that he'll one day hit 100,000 subs, so throw the guy a bone. Bye.